My name is Steve Smith. I'm the editor of PHCPros Magazine. I've been at this magazine for 8 years, but I've been reporting in this excellent industry since 1990.
I follow Gary Vee, and he's out front. He knows the future. Like he understands where we're headed. It seems like he's kind of proven that.
Okay.
And he's saying if you're not playing with AI every day, you're in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, like every day you've got to be using it and figuring out how to use it. Don't be afraid. There's always more jobs, and so it just changes our work somehow. One way to have it encouraging for you is like now, if I wrote that article, it just took a couple minutes, right? Yeah. But now I could go on social media and share that article and spend the next half hour making more people aware of the article. What technology does is it frees up your time to do other things.
Well, I mean, it's just beginning, I think, but it's also one of those things that tomorrow it'll be it's exponentially growing.
This year's Connect show, put on by PHCC, the Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Contractors of America, was a total blast. We met and caught up with so many great people from our industry. What an honor to have some of them on Behind the Windshield with Dennis the Apprentice, where we learned a bit more about them, where they came from, how they got into our industry, and some of the innovative things they're doing to make our industry the place to be. One thing special about this show is that it hosts the PHCC National Apprentice Contest, so there were a lot of great apprentices in attendance. I wish you could have been there yourself, but maybe the next best thing is getting to know a bit more about our next guest. Steve, welcome to Behind the Windshield with Dennis the Apprentice.
Thank you. I was glad to be on last year, and I'm glad to be on this year.
A year went by like that.
It did, didn't it?
It's awesome.
Yes. Before you know it, we'll be in Alabama.
Exactly. How's your year been?
Very good, very good. Always challenging in publishing these days, but you get through it. Our issues are nice and fat, I think.
Yeah. Remind everybody what issues
I certainly will. Yes. My name is Steve Smith. I'm the editor of PHCPros Magazine. I've been at this magazine for 8 years, but I've been reporting in this excellent industry since 1990.
Wow.
Long time. I don't want to do the math, but I think that's like 30, 40 years, something like that. I've worked for wholesale books, engineering books, other competing contracting books, and my own. Yeah. And it's a great, great industry, and love it to death, and that's why I'm not going anywhere.
Awesome. You have seen a lot of change.
Definitely. And the biggest change that I think we're trying to get our heads around is ChatGPT and AI.
Oh, you said it.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Yesterday, I did go to a great seminar from John Mullen from iAtmo. Talked about AI. It was more of a philosophical discussion than hey, here's how to do it.
Sure.
Because I don't even think anybody really knows. And there was an AI presentation that I didn't get a chance to go to yesterday, but it's out there.
Yes.
People are talking about it.
Yeah.
There's a seminar at 2:00 later this afternoon on ChatGPT and probably a little bit more of a how-to that I want to listen to. But, I'm getting my head wrapped around it as a publishing professional, what it means to do that.
Right.
And I don't even know.
Right.
Yet, exactly. People talk about it's a good way to make an outline.
Sure.
I got to tell you, as an editor, as writer, the outline is half the battle sometimes. You got, hours of interviews and tons of notes. And how are you going to construct that so it has a beginning, middle, and end? You need an outline. And I've been told, I have not used this myself, but, people that I do know have done it. And it's a nice little outline, at least, to get your thoughts organized.
Yes.
But not a replacement for me.
Yes.
An adjunct of my mental capacity, I guess.
Sure.
But I mean, what about the trades? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we brag, we pound our chest that it's not going to take our jobs away from us. Right. But I think it's going to make us smarter, faster.
Yeah.
And like I heard one company is setting up their training so that their teachings are searchable more efficiently.
Okay.
So they're not, I think they're setting, that might be more of a private AI.
Yeah.
But when you ask their material question, it will find their answers rather than just going out. Because, you ask Google a question, you can get some crazy answers.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so I heard the company doing that, kind of taking a little bit tighter approach. One thing I've been trying to play with it, I've got friends that are using it every day. I follow Gary Vee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
And, he's out front. He knows the future. Like, he understands where we're headed, it seems like. He's kind of proven that.
Okay.
And he's saying if you're not playing with AI every day, you're in trouble.
Really?
Yeah, like every day you've got to be using it and figuring out how to use it. So I kind of,
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious in what ways, though. I mean, I can think about it all day long, too, but I don't know exactly how to put it in place.
Yeah, well, for example, I was inspired by that. And so how do I do that? Well, I had a commitment come to me. I'm supposed to write an article in our PHCC State of Washington magazine.
Yeah.
And, I was running 2 companies and busy and traveling, and all of a sudden the deadline's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you better get going.
So I got to write this article. I had the idea in my head.
Uh-huh.
So I downloaded ChatGPT and I just said, write a 500 word. I found out how long the article was. What 250 words. I can't remember what the words were. I said, write this article highlighting these 3 things that were in my mind.
Yeah.
And I hit submit or go or whatever the button is. You can tell how up to date I am.
Yes.
I'm just figuring it out myself. And it goes, and out comes a beautiful article.
Really?
And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Okay.
And so then I just added a personal paragraph, kind of bringing it home and bringing it local.
Yeah.
To our experience. I put in a personal anecdote and I submitted it.
Really?
This is my first time I'm publicly admitting that.
It's on the record now.
People literally said, what a fantastic article, Dennis. That was a great article.
Really?
And I'm just thinking to myself, you gotta be kidding me.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's probably like, when the president gives a speech, he doesn't write the speech. He's too busy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he looks over what is written for him out of his own mouth to say.
And he said,
add something.
Yeah, this is what I want to talk about. These are my 3 points. And they wrap it up so it'll be taken well by them.
Yeah. The
other thing I think is that I'm seeing possibility with it is sometimes we can talk too eloquently.
Yeah.
I was just at a financial seminar, and this guy is so knowledgeable and he speaks so he asks him a financial question and he waxes eloquent.
Yes.
And just blows your mind with intellect.
Yeah.
But what does it really mean? Can you actually understand it at like an 8th grade level? And so I plan to use AI with some of my content, like bring it, like I've heard that we need to communicate at 8th grade level, especially to young people.
Okay.
So my target is to young people. I want to make sure they understand.
Okay.
And so I'm going to try to use AI to communicate at an 8th grade level. Not to dumb it down, to make it easy to consume. So that's kind of where I'm headed with
Interesting.
it.
Well,
because you can do that. You can say the article I wrote, make it sound like it's from Shakespeare.
Yes.
And I go, and it will sound like from Shakespeare.
Okay.
So why not say at an 8th grade level?
Yeah.
And I think it'll work.
Well, okay. Now that's a good example, but that puts me out of work. Or does it?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's interesting is it's doing weird things like video editors.
Yeah.
Like it's doing editor work.
Yeah.
But I think what like Gary Vee says is don't be afraid. There's always more jobs. And so it just changes our work somehow.
Okay.
So that's what we're trying to figure out.
Yeah. Well, to keep it more positive, at least for my benefit, you mentioned training. I mean, indexing. Do you know more contractor way? Yeah, obviously you're a contractor and a writer.
Yeah.
But if I'm a contractor and not a writer, how would I use ChatGPT? And in what ways would I? I mean, what is it? Job descriptions? Is it?
I think job descriptions for one.
I think our mutual friend Al Levy
is
very well known for his manuals.
Yes.
Could you say, hey, write me a manual for service calls for a 10-year-old water heater?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That we'll have to play with that. Here, Steve, one way to have it encouraging for you is like now, if I wrote that article, it just took a couple minutes, right?
Yeah.
But now I could go on social media and share that article and spend the next half hour making more people aware of the article.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
I'm literally thinking on the
Share
fly.
it more,
But what technology does is it frees up your time
Yep.
to do other things.
Yeah, that's true.
So where maybe so many people saw it, now that we've got more time to somehow share and distribute, maybe that's the way it frees up publishers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just beginning, I think, but it's also one of those things that it's beginning, but tomorrow it'll be, exponentially growing.
Yes.
And it is funny to think about this because, I don't know how long it's been, a long time, where I'm driving down the road and I just ask Siri to find me directions to somewhere. And that's, that's a voice recognition system. I think it was Woof. I don't know, what was it called? Wolfgang or something?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like every I mean, I can ask what time does the NFL, what time the Bears play on Sunday? It knows. Yes. What's a movie starring somebody? It knows. It's like that, only vocally. And I got to say, I use a transcription service myself, and they just started doing summaries. Now, maybe it's chat, maybe it's AI, I don't know. But I did my cover story for December. Mm-hmm. I had, an hour-long interview at least with two people, and I never had done I don't think it was a part of the benefit features yet. And I did it, and man, that spit out a really good summary. Like I said, outlines for a writer is very important.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe contractors, these outlines of job duties and what to do at the end of the day to make your customer happy, and what to say, because some people aren't gifted necessarily with words and not extroverted, perhaps.
I wonder, so the way I was making a 1-minute post out of my truck, right? Mm-hmm. And I kind of ramble a little bit. I'm just saying my thing. Yeah. But then my editor started cutting it up into 30 seconds. Uh-huh. And he's like, hey, 30 seconds of what you had to say was just blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so tightened it up. And so I think every artist or every person that's communicating does that to some degree. You don't actually know what the gems are yet. Right. And so I wonder if even writing an article, like you get the article out and then maybe AI will help us define what are the gems in the article. Good point. You have to write the article first.
You have to write it.
You got to do the data dump. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a human element that shouldn't go away, I hope.
Yes.
And maybe it clarifies your thought process. That I hope is the one good feature we can all agree on.
Yes. Well, I'm a huge fan of the trade journals. If I say trade journals are the textbook of the trades. Yeah. That's how. So in two industries, I've got myself up to speed very quickly. And the way I did that was reading the trade journals cover to cover. Mm-hmm. So, and that's not social media. That's not at work. That's literally in the bathroom in the mornings, right? Mm-hmm. Just a 1 or 2 minute article. Yeah. You can read those articles. Yes. And you get in your publication, there's a whole variety with the management or technical or new products or suppliers or I'm a fan of that. And you do need it it can't just be all digital. Mm-hmm. I don't think. No. So I think it's smart to read an article, see it digital, go play with it with your hands. Mm-hmm. So I think the variety is necessary for a full education, I think.
Very good.
So,
well, I gotta run because
awesome.
I had some buzzing thing and it reminds me I got a lunch to go to.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve, for being on the show.
Thanks again for letting me go on one more year.
You got it.
Next year in Alabama.
Let's do
it. Make it three. A three-peat.
Let's do it.
Perfect.
Thanks. Yeah. So that's a wrap. I hope you're inspired to make it to a trade show near you, or even put the 2024 PHCC Connect show in Birmingham, Alabama, October 7 through 10 on your calendar. If you can't make it, but want to stay up to date on what's going on at the shows, like and subscribe, and I'll do my best to bring the shows to you.